Hey everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey, and I'm back with you again today to share how I planned in my memory planner for the week of October 3rd through 9th. You got to see a little look at the week before, and I'm really excited about this week because I'm kind of taking it back to basics. I've had kind of a rough couple of weeks in my regular planner and finding just different layouts that worked for me, and so I really wanted to go back to what really works, what I know I like, what I know is something that I feel super comfortable with. So what I decided to do was settle on three colors to use for this week. So I went with orange, yellow, and like turquoisey aqua. I decided to pick a couple of cards for my page protectors that matched my color scheme and then just go from there. I've been trying to get back to my style. I've been trying to do different things, and that doesn't work as well for me. So I've decided that maybe every now and again I'll incorporate new little things while staying true to what I know makes me happy and comfortable. So anyway, going through my stash and finding all of the things that will work. And so for Monday, I had a lunch date. I used the memo sticker, which is the one that looks a little bit like the notebook paper, and then slapped a flag right on top of there. I just love how that looks. I love the colors together. And so even starting on Monday for the basic planning part, I am jazzed. I'm super energized, and I hope that it'll be pleasing to you too. I've moved on to Tuesday using a super basic little sticker and just using the tiny, tiny little soccer ball icon just to dress that up. Now, please keep in mind this is my memory planner, so I like to cluster things together in order to leave plenty of really good, usable room for decoration and photos. And I'm also trying to be cognizant of this as I move into 2017, which I know you're thinking, Jenny, you're crazy, it's October still. I know, but I'm still thinking of ways I'm going to be able to organize this in the Big Happy Planner for 2017. I'm pulling out this really cute stamp. It's one of my very favorites from Sweet Stamp Shop, and you can see right there all of my planner inks. I'm using a Versacolor turquoise and just going to stamp right there. It's super simple and super basic, but the colors are really versatile and something that when you're stamping, you can make it exactly how you need it to, just only based on what you have handy. So there are no limitations. The only limitations are what you have supplies-wise. Now, I love stamping and stickers together, and so again, that kind of goes back to what I'm using that makes me comfortable and what makes me look at my page and say, yeah, this is totally for me. So now I've also added a sticker from Libby and Company. It's that little pencil, and I used my Pilot permanent pen to write on it so that there's no smearing or anything like that. I tried a new shop to me recently, Peanut Butter Taco. It's that cute little grocery bag right there where I notated my grocery shopping. I've already talked to you a little bit about my theory on memory planning, which is that I include all of our daily activities and events, and then I add photos, and then I decorate. I want to remember this time in our life. I scrapbook as well, so it's not important for me to capture just the gorgeous moments, though those are included here too. But I know because my sons are a little bit older that I will forget these things. I know I'll forget the little teeny tiny details, and I want to have a brief snippet into our life right now. And so that's why I'm doing memory planning, and that's why I'm doing memory planning in the way that I'm doing it. But each person has to do it the way that they feel the most comfortable and the vision works for them as well. I used two plain basic label stickers right there, staggering them just to make them look a little bit more interesting to notate a particular event, which was soccer practice. I'm not using any other stamps or decorative stickers, just the two labels right there, and I feel like the color gives it that little bit of interest and pop that it needs. Now, I have something in mind that I want to note for coming up, and sometimes it just takes searching and searching and searching and realizing that you don't have the perfect thing. And so then you make do. I took one of these list stickers and I just trimmed off two of the little dots. Sorry, it was off camera, you couldn't see it, but I just cut the two off the top and made it into three, which is exactly what I needed. So sometimes you have to modify what you have to make it fit your needs. Now, I could have done a variety of different things. I could have covered it with a different sticker, but I chose to trim it instead with my scissors. And definitely, again, like I said already, the only limitation is basically the supplies that you have. You can make a lot of different things work, and you can make a lot of different things into something that you need, maybe even if that wasn't its initial format. Now I want to add a header, add a header for those little 3 bullet points. And so I'm just going to combine a few different things. I'm going to combine this cute little label with a headline stamp and then also one of these little stickers that looks like a binder clip. Now because this is a scrapbook of sorts, I definitely want to spend a little bit of time dressing it up and making it a little bit more decorative and a little bit more fun because I am treating it as memory keeping in addition to straight up planning. So that's why every now and again you'll see a couple of extra little touches here and there, though I still am not going crazy because I know that the end result with all of the things combined still ends up being really decorative and pretty even without it being crazy and totally decorative. Now again, as I mentioned before, I'm trying to be mindful of where I might also place decor and where I might place photos. So you can see that I am clustering different things, leaving little chunks of white space here and there so I can add photos and I can add decoration. Now the key to this project is to be mindful of the things that you're going to add. So I know that I have a handful of photos that I'm going to add. So I need to think about that when I'm doing the planning so that I leave room for those photos, so that it leaves good design for those photos. Because if I spend too much time spreading out all my activities and not really being thoughtful, then I won't have the proper space and I won't be happy with the outcome at the very end when I'm finished. A little bit more time while crafting can really help make the overall effect the way that I want it to be. Now on those glossy stickers I write with a Pilot permanent pen. You can see it right there. I purchased it on Amazon. I really like the tip. It's very, very similar to a Sharpie Ultrafine, however, so if you have some of those, you could just do that as well. And I also only use those on glossy stickers, by the way. I don't use them on matte stickers. I just use a Papermate Flare pen on matte stickers. Now for the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to cluster 3 different events all together and then also add a little bit of decorative flair. So first I put down that little corner sticker, then I put down the list sticker, and then a speech bubble for the headline, and then put that today right on top of it, and I totally love it. I think it's so super cute. And then now I'm going to write 3 different activities on that one sticker. Now ordinarily I might use 3 different little clusters, but I knew that I still wanted to leave some open space and I knew that I wanted to put it in list format. So I just kind of kept it all tight and neat in that one box for 3 different activities. But that's not something that I would do every single time, though I did do it a couple of different times on this particular page. Now I'm mostly done with the planning, so you're going to take a look at how it all came together. Now what I want you to notate here is that A, I already have printed out my photos, so I'm taking a look at those. But B, I have left 3 major chunks of space for decoration and for photos. The upper left corner, the lower left corner, and the center right. There are 3 big white spaces right there that'll be perfect for adding photos and for adding decoration. And so as you can see, it also forms a triangle. So I've left 3, I could draw a triangle in between those 3 spaces. And ideally, it would be awesome if I had photos for all 3 of those spaces. I don't. But what I do instead is add some photos and add some decoration. So in the end, it all comes together into being something that I'm super happy with. But it's not exactly what maybe I would have initially thought when looking at it. As you can see, I've pulled out a circle punch and I'm going to punch those 2 photos on the right side with the circle punch. Now I did both of them with the same size punch, but once I'm starting to kind of place them down there, I'm not really happy with that. So I decide to pull out a smaller circle punch and re-punch one of the photos with a smaller circle punch. Now, a side item, this particular son of mine and his friend are teenagers, middle schoolers, if you will. And the one thing that is really, really helpful is to take the photos that they take. My sons are completely aware that I use their photos in my projects, and whether or not they like it or not, I don't know. I don't think they actually care that much, but it's really helpful because a lot of their activities I'm not privy to. They're at school or things like that, and so I wouldn't necessarily have access to those. But by taking the photos that they take themselves and them allowing me to use them, I'm able to get a lot more photos that I'm just so happy to include. I'm going through the Scraptastic Club October add-on kit from the This Life Noted kit, looking for some Halloween type embellishments to add to this particular layout. I'm not going to go crazy or anything like that because it's still the beginning of October, but I do have a couple of Halloween themed things right here on this page that I've already included, which is my house and the outside decorations, and then also obviously this photo of my son and his friend dressed up for their haunted house that they'll be putting on at the end of the month. So I'm just trying to tie that all together. Tie together the photos and the decor and just an overall everyday theme as well. So that can be a little bit difficult, but I'm going to keep that in mind as I continue on with this layout. Now I've pulled out a couple of washi tapes that I think will match and I'm very excited to use. And so I'm going to set those aside until I'm finished so then I can put that on near the end. It's kind of a finishing touch type thing for me. Washi is not a main component, it's like a side dish. Now I've pulled out my self-healing mat so I can draw some journaling lines right here on the bottom of my layout. And what I like to do is I like to stagger the lines. I can obviously line them up so that they're all straight, but I love the more fun, playful effect that staggering the lines gives. And then not to mention that that makes it so that it doesn't have to be perfect. If my lines don't line up correctly, and I'm trying to make them line up, then I'm all frustrated because they don't look great. But if I make them staggered to begin with at the beginning, then I love it because it feels playful and fun, and I don't have to worry about it so much. Now I'm searching through my stash for the perfect little alphabet stickers to use in this space. I need them to be the right size, and then also a color scheme that'll go with this particular week. I found this old package of Studio Calico ones, and when I say old, I mean like 3 or 4 years old. So it's not something that I can say, oh yeah, go here and purchase these. Nope, they're super old and I've just had them in my stash for many years now. And I'm just writing the word Halloween with those alphabet stickers. It adds a little bit more playful fun, it adds some texture, it adds some color, and so it's one of those things just to jazz it up that it's a very interesting way to make journaling a little bit more fun. So now that I'm finished with that, I can put the mat away and get back to finishing up the rest of the page. Now as you can see, all I did was write and adhere my photo to that bottom left-hand side, and that's completely finished, and I'm thrilled with it. It's exactly what I want it to be. And so it really didn't take anything at all in terms of supplies or decorations or stickers or anything like that. Now I'm pulling out a super old set of Scraptastic Club alphabet stamps. This is a 3x4 stamp set, so you can tell that the scope of the words is a little bit smaller. They're maybe about a half an inch tall. And I'm just going to use my acrylic block and these stamps and then this turquoise Versacolor ink pad that I used earlier to stamp on Wednesday morning, and I'm going to stamp out the word drama. These photos, as I already talked about, were taken by my middle school son and his friend, and they are about their drama and the open house / haunted house that they'll be doing at school later in the month, and so they were practicing their makeup. And so one of the fun things is that I can take those photos and then just add a little word, and it's just so much fun, and it's such a great decoration, yet it's not even really, again, involved. It didn't really take very much, and it was something that I already had in my stash. Now as you can see, I'm adding the washi tape. Like I said already, it's definitely one of those things for me that is a side item. It's just a little tiny bit of decor. I've added it vertically in the Sunday section, and then I'm also adding it horizontally right above my journaling. I love the added touch that that brings. I just feel like it's super cute right there, and it looks great, but it's not overwhelming, and it was just something also that I already had on hand. Now, the last thing that I'm going to basically add here is I pulled out an old stamp set from Scraptastic Club. This is an old This Life Noted set, and I'm going to stamp in the upper left-hand corner. So I've taken the orange Versacolor ink pad and stamped the speech bubble. And then now there's another stamp that's an outline, and I'm going to ink that up with my black VersaFine. And then when I'm stamping it, I'm going to slightly stagger it on top of the orange because I don't want it to be completely lined up. I want it to be a little tiny bit off kilter. It adds just kind of that dimension to the stamp that it wouldn't have had ordinarily. And then I'm going to take one of the words that was also included in the stamp set and stamp that directly over the orange with the black VersaFine again. So now it says observations over there. And so all together, it just came together. It's perfect for this particular layout. Now, I could still use just a tiny bit more decoration, and I can definitely see that there's a couple of places that maybe I would have wanted some full box stickers or something like that, but I do really enjoy white space as well. I feel like it helps make my layouts less cluttered, and it also gives my eye a place to rest. So I'm going to leave that there for now and not mess any further with it. And to be perfectly honest, I love it. It makes me so happy looking at it, and that's exactly the joy that I was hoping to bring back to my planning, in that I would just feel that overwhelming sense of, yes, that's it, that's my style. Now I'm going through these pocket cards from Ellie's Studio, and they're just really fun and whimsical, and I always really love the colors. They're fantastic. Now I'm going to need some for the front and the back, and I will also use some that are just completely for filler, and then also one that I layer a photo on top of as well. When using the pocket pages, what I like to do is I like to fill all the pockets. Then I like to go back and dress them up, just because then it gives me a good idea of what I'm working with. And so like right here, for example, I have put the photo on top of this, and then I'm going back to those yellow alphas that I used in my journaling, and I'm just writing out Yoda. So I'm tying together the pocket page card with the journaling on the main planner layout. And then I turn it over, and I'm just going to dress it up a little bit more too in a little bit. But first, I'm going to add the tiniest bit of journaling to this photo, just by pulling out 3 of these little label stickers and then just writing a couple of words on there as well. Then I'm just going to add another sticker and dress up that pocket page card on the other side, and then that's it. So that is it for me for this week in my memory planner. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I really, truly did. If you enjoyed my video, please leave me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you liked it. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it in the box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.